Hello and welcome to today's YouTube video. Today we're going over the third and final game of my tournament that I played on Monday, which was 3 days ago, and I got white. So double white this tournament, quite nice. And we're against Dan, which we drew last week. So I played d4 and my opponent played the Dutch defense. Now I don't recommend this. It breaks opening principles. You're not supposed to weaken your king by pushing the f pawn. Yeah, it's just not one of my recommended openings, that's for sure. So I continue with the Jobava setup. You can do it like this. This is what I like to do. You can also like maybe try and play for e4, but I play it this way. So yeah, I play e3 and h4. Now I play h4 against basically all g6 systems because I want to attack. And how can I do that against g6 systems? Opening up the h file or the g file. Yeah, it's just very good here. After castles, I was thinking about h5, but the problem with it is I'm not quite sure how to proceed. For example, after here takes, queen to e8, I was thinking about queen to h2. Now obviously this is good, but it's not quite as good since my bishop on d3 is already restricted. See, f5 is usually a move that people play after you sacrifice and already brought your bishop to d3. So it's a move that black already has, so I think it helps for the defense of the position here. So I played it a little bit slower with bishop to e2, reinforcing h5, so I don't really have to sacrifice here. Now the best move is h6. I was like, okay, what do I do after h6? Maybe I play g4. I think I was going to play g4 after h6, but my opponent played d6, not even really caring about my idea of h5, and I just proceed and yeah, go through with it. Opponent plays queen to e8, and I simply take because I'm like, okay, it cannot be bad to open the h file. My rook's on the h file. I'm not castling that way, so feels like a good idea to just open up the h file for my attack. And yeah, I'm correct in that evaluation. So now I develop my knight. I bring another piece to the attack, and my opponent plays knight to h5. And already here I can sacrifice and it's completely sound. But I took a more solid approach with bishop g5. I'm already like completely winning, by the way. It calls it inaccurate, but still completely winning. My opponent plays e5, opening up the position even though he has a weak king. My king is very safe, even though it's still in the center, but his king's already like very weak, being that he has a bunch of pawns pushed, and also he doesn't even have an h-pawn. So yeah, this is very lethal. So I take once, opening up the center, and play queen d5. Now here, I calculated bishop e6, takes, and I must be winning like 2 pawns at least. Now, I calculated that and I'm like, okay, that must be fine. So I didn't really look at it too much. The other one was queen to f7, and I was looking at bishop c4, but I was like, it's so close to being checkmate, it's insane. Because just follow this line. Okay, first of all, if rook takes, you just pin. You just pin and win. That's simple. But the real solid line is king takes. Now, it's so close to being checkmate, it's insane. I'm like bishop c4, his king's running in the center, long castles coming in with rook d1. I mean, come on, I just really want to go for this, but bishop e6. Bishop e6 is the one defense that he has, and it's good. But yeah, anyways, back to queen d5. My opponent plays king h7, which I'm just like, that cannot be a good move, because I can bring my knight to the g5 square with a massive attack, with like some ideas of doing the old knight f7 trick, you know, bishop c4, knight f7, like winning the queen potentially. But yeah, I play bishop h4 to open up that square for my knight, and my opponent plays c6. I play queen c4. I wasn't really worried about b5 here because I literally just go to c5. If like knight here attacks my queen, then I jump into d6. I could have gone there immediately, but I wanted to stay on this diagonal for potential knight shenanigans. So yeah, my opponent plays bishop to h6 to stop knight g5 for now, and I just simply long castle, again, bringing another piece to the party. And I actually have a very, very devious threat here. Notice my bishop. That's a very strong bishop because it supports the idea of rook d8. Just hold on. We'll come back to it. Bishop e6, hitting my queen. And now the very lethal queen b4. Now, why is this lethal, you say? Well, it's a fork. It may not look like a fork, but it's definitely a fork. It forks the b7 pawn, and believe it or not, it forks the rook on f8. Now, my opponent here played bishop back to c8, defending the pawn, but he missed my other threat. This is why it's a fork. And coming back to the bishop on h4, rook d8. Oof. Like, if I was streamer, I'd be like, get him out of here. I mean, this move is absolutely insanely good. Now my opponent plays queen to c7. The best move here is literally just to give up the queen. It just says give up the queen. You're already losing, buddy. Yeah, my opponent plays queen c7, and now is where the fun part begins. The bishop protects the rook, but how can I remove the bishop? Well, there's another tactic that also assists in this. These pieces are on forkable squares. So how can I deflect this bishop? Knight g5, check, best move. After bishop takes, I do rook takes f8, and queen blocks on e7 is the best move, but I mean, come on, you're literally losing every piece on the board. Queen takes, bishop takes, bishop takes. This is pinned, like everything is pinned here. Yeah. So he plays knight d7. I play rook d8 because now he can't even feed and kiddo his bishop because then he loses his knight. I mean, you're basically paralyzed here. Every pin on the board is like, it's crazy how good my position is here. It kind of helps that I'm up like a full rook, but yeah, you get the point. Anyways, after that, he played king g7 and resigned. Yeah, I mean, if he plays on here, that's just kind of disrespectful. I mean, I'm not super low rated anymore. I drew him last week, even though I was down a full piece. Yeah. Anyways, accuracies, I had an accuracy of 85.2, which is quite good, and my opponent had an accuracy of 71.1. I've seen better from him. So yeah, it was just been of an off game. It was the last round. It happens. Yeah. Estimated ratings, I had an estimated rating of 2100, and my opponent had an estimated rating of 1500, which is quite low, honestly, which it happens. I mean, the Dutch defense is not an easy system to play, especially against Jobava, when I'm going to create concrete problems for you and really ask you what you're doing. But yeah, that does it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and as always, I will see you in tomorrow's video.